Hi, it's Ursula from ursula-smith.com, and those of you who know me know that I like to play around with different materials and see how I can combine them and use them in different ways. And today I'm going to be playing with masking fluid or drawing gum. It's really meant to be used for watercolor, but I've been playing around with it with rubber stamps. So let me show you how I use it. So today I'm going to be playing around with masking fluid or drawing gum, and I want to try and use it on a rubber stamp. So I'm working on, hey, let me turn the paper this way. I'm working on one of those non-stick craft sheets, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this drawing gum out. I'm just using a sponge brush. I'm going to stir it first. And I'm just going to take a little bit out. Some of it's already started to dry. I'm going to take a little bit out and just put some on the craft sheet. You actually don't need a whole lot, so I'm going to work with that. Then I'm going to take my sponge brush. I'm going to dip it into the drawing gum, and I'm just going to paint onto the rubber stamp. Actually, I probably need a little bit more than that. Let me get a little more out. Too much. Well, I'll be using a lot of that. So you're just going to dip in and then brush it onto the rubber stamp, just like you were using paint. And then stamp in the usual way. Kind of going off the edge here. Oh, I forgot the middle part. That's okay. Let's get the middle part this time. So this masking fluid is actually a color, so it's nice because you can see where you've used it. And we're going to go around and just stamp out the whole piece of paper, kind of making a background. And what this will end up doing is it will dry to almost like a rubber consistency. Most of the masking fluids have latex in them, so if you have a latex allergy, obviously you can't do this technique. I think there is one brand that doesn't have latex though. I just got mine at dickblicks.com, so if you want to check them out, they had lots of different types of masking fluid. I was just using the PBO, however you say that, brand. And so I'm just going to go around and fill the whole piece of paper and then let it dry. And I will be back. So I've gone ahead and filled up the entire sheet of paper, and I'm just going to let it dry. But I just wanted to mention that you want to make sure this is just the same as if you were using paint with your stamps. You want to make sure that you clean them very well. In fact, generally when I'm doing this, I'll clean them in between every stamping just to make sure that the gum doesn't dry on the rubber stamp. And you can use just a baby wipe. I forgot who told me. Maybe it was Dina Wakely. Somebody mentioned these Soho Studio wipes. I love these things. These things will get paint and ink and stuff off of just about anything. So those are really good to use when you've got something that's a little bit more difficult to clean. And then I would finish up with my normal cleaning pad, my ink cleaning pad, or stamp cleaning pad. Okay, so we're just going to let it dry, but while that's doing that, I want to try doing a stencil. I'm not sure how this will work. The drawing fluid is pretty liquid, and I'm thinking this is a pretty delicate stencil. It might, if you can see that, it's pretty delicate. It might end up leaking under. So I'm hoping now that it's actually had a chance to sit, it might be a little bit stiffer. And so I'm just going to pounce around the stencil and try not to get too heavy an application so it flows under. I don't want to let this go to waste, so I'm just going to give this a shot and we'll see how it works. Just lift it up. Okay, I think that's the end of the masking fluid. Maybe I can eke out one more to make it an even number. Come on. Okay, it snuck under there a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. It's very, very fluid. So I think if you had a stencil that was maybe a little bit bigger pattern, you might be able to get away with it. But we'll let it dry and I'll be back. Hi, I'm back. And I wanted to show you another sample that I've done before with a different stamp. And if you look here, I've gone ahead and I've sprayed it with the Dilutions ink, just the spray bottles, just sprayed a couple of different colors over the masking fluid. And then in this area, I've started to remove some of the masking fluid. So you can remove it either with your finger, you can just kind of, here's some that's still left. You can just use your finger and rub on it to remove the masking fluid. Or you can use one of these gum erasers, which is generally the way that I do it. And you just basically come through and erase the masking fluid. And then it will protect whatever color is underneath. Now my paper was white to begin with, so when I remove the masking fluid, the white paper shows through the areas that were protected with the masking fluid. And I've been using watercolor inks. You could use ink pads. Dye ink pads I know would work. I haven't tried it yet with paint or pigment ink, but I'll update in the blog post. I'll give those a shot and see how that works. And by the time you see this post, I will have written a blog post and I will give you the update on how the other materials worked. And I just want to show you a boo-boo here. I got too antsy. I don't know if you can see it. My fat finger's in the way. Where is it? There it is. That hole right there. I got too antsy and I started to remove the masking fluid before the paper had really finished drying from the inks. And I started rubbing the paper away and made a big fat mess. But great place for an embellishment. So anyway, I hope you like that technique. And if you have drawing fluid at home, give it a shot. Just make sure to clean your stamps. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Hi, I'm back, and I went ahead and decided to try doing some of the paint. So this part up here is acrylic paint. This straight out of the bottle. This down here, in this section here, is diluted acrylic paint. I went over some of that over here with VersaFine pigment ink, and then I went over the watered down paint here with some archival ink. And I'm going to let it dry and peel it off, and I'll show you the results. Hi, I'm back. I've now let the paint dry a little bit, and I'm just going to try to remove the drawing gum. Cool. And the drawing gum worked, even with acrylic paint. Over here, this paint's not dry. Over here's the pigment ink. Okay, looks like it removes off from that. And then over here is the archival ink. And that works as well. Cool. So this paper, this was the acrylic ink up here, full strength. This section here was just a wash of it. This section right here. This was VersaFine, and then this was the archival. So all of that worked, and the spray ink with the drawing fluid, or masking fluid, excuse me. So anyway,